My name is Buck, and this is Draper. Draper is a piece of AI technology, a system for branding creative that I've built. I want to introduce to you in this video. Draper's for creative directors, art directors, graphic designers, and really any creative production role inside of a brand or in brand building. Because there's two parts to it. There is the building of brands and new brands, and then the creative studio, which is everything around content production and marketing going forward with the brand. And in this video, I want to show you visual results and the time and cost impact of this technology. So Draper, the first part is the brand building. And what this looks like is a process of question and answer, guided exploration, and prototyping that then is built into a final brand with really robust backing from creative direction, strategy, and what we call creative variables. So moving through question and answer, you then are guided through visual exploration to specific references based off all of the information that was pulled out in the earlier phases. Those visual references are gathered by the user, creative director, art director, etc. And from those visual references, specific actionable directions and takeaways are generated that then drive prototyping using AI production to test directions across all key outputs. Those outputs in the refined set with human decision making guiding the whole way are then turned into the final creative direction and brand identity that gets then housed in Draper for the go forward. Has both the traditional brand identity elements, our specific creative variable system that we've created, and I'll get back to, and then all of that backing strategic, thematic, creative thought that came through that process. And to show you examples and the impact of this, it helps us first show you a brand that was built not with Draper. This is Petty Ranch Inn, a brand I built for a property in Utah. This brand, the time spent and the cost looked like this. My own time as the creative director, over 30 hours, the cost across the team, $20. This brand, Lopa Ledger, is one built with Draper. The same level of thematic depth and symbolism and meaning. This is a design-focused spec home builder moving into the world of finance as they go out to raise capital and trying to combine both of those ideas into one brand. Not only is all the creative direction, the thought, the strategy here built through that Draper process, over 50% of the individual assets here as well were created using Draper through that brand creation process. The time and cost for this brand looked like this. 8 hours for me, the creative director, and $20 in costs. So an 80% reduction in time for the user, 90% plus reduction in cost. Now, the very important thing with Draper is the go forward, because the cost, the time, the effort for production and marketing for a brand only continues to grow. Building the brand in this way and in this platform and then hosting it and storing it in the platform allows for production in what we call the creative studio, where we have specific trained agents and all the key output types, and these agents are trained to pull in all of that information for the brand, and in particular the creative variables, which we have developed the system to drive these AI models to do production of really any kind. And again, I'll show you some examples of with and without specifically the brand, the creative variables being stored in Draper and being imbued into the prompting. These next four things I'm going to show you are all outputs using AI generative tools, this tool being V0. This is the same prompt, giving the same information to create a slide for Lopa Ledger without the creative variables, without the brand in the system. This is just prompting on the information. That same prompt with the same information, but with the brand identity, the creative variables, and the creative direction produced this slide. And the same thing can be seen for social. This is a carousel. The content, the information about this home is the same. No creative variables, no brand identity in the Draper system. This is with a prompt created with the Draper system imbuing all of that material and direction into the output. Now, the key thing here, these images in this carousel are actually being generated by AI. And they look great, but you want to show your own property. Lopa Ledger is going to show its own homes. And I know for me, as someone who makes a lot of content, I've grown a following, over 200,000 followers across the major platforms. To do all this content for my own brand and for my properties, the biggest single challenge has always been the gathering of media, the gathering of information and context to plan, direct, and hand off to my team of editors, video editors, and graphic designers. This is probably the most important part of Draper, because outside of the production, which is imbued with the brand identity and creative direction, we have two very key things. We have the repository. This is made up of a knowledge repository that takes in, via spoken word or the uploading of documents, information about a brand aligned with its content strategy created in the brand build, holds and stores that information to guide copywriting, and it takes in media assets, video, photos, files, etc., and using everything in this system tied to that brand, tags the media assets. Not generally like what is in the photo, what's in the photo specific to the content strategy and how this is going to get used. So in a reference like this, 1247 Pineapple is one of the projects. In the media library, there exists actual images of that actual property, tagged of the actual kitchen, of the actual bedrooms, of the living room, etc., so that everything from the strategy, the identity, the visuals, the information and the knowledge, and the media to be used is combined into the final output. And the last key layer is, even with something that looks as great as this, in reference to this, what I've found is a lot of times I still like using humans. I like using creatives who can come in at the last mile, the last 10%, and add 10x the value they normally would with all the iteration, direction, exploration, and media and context pulled together for them. Making that handoff is easier with Draper because with the exploration happening in production, the repo holding all the assets, this can all get combined into our brief builder, where you come to start the process of directing whatever creative you're working with, describing what you want done, walking through it with a simple Loom video dropped in here, and then attaching in the reference and exploration assets you've either found and gathered or created with AI, and attaching in the specific media to be used and the brand guidelines, all of which can be sent using a link, all of which can be downloaded by that creative. We are in the beta stage now. All of these features, except for the media repository, are currently in the system. This is the system that created those Lopa Ledger assets that I showed you. This is the brand being stored in the platform. We are developing the rest of the system, namely the media repository, and we are bringing this to market, bringing on our first beta users right now. If this is interesting to you, you can reach out to me, depending on where you see this video, email down below in the message that I sent this to you on, and we can have a discussion. I appreciate you watching.